And you have just crossed the line. End of debate. Report to the cargo bay and remain there until this is over. Is that understood?
I want the birthday cake from that episode of STNG where they keep cutting into Balana, like Balana's the birthday cake. Do you remember that one?
Balana.
Yeah, not Balana.
Deanna.
Deanna. Deanna's the
Yes.
birthday cake, and it's some type of cellular cake, and she's like, "Don't cut me, bro."
Don't cut me. Like, she's like, I got cakes. I'll make them clap, but don't cut me.
I want
Don't
that
cut
cake.
me. I think the cake that they use in Star Trek Voyager and maybe overall, I just think it's a prop cake that they use over and over and over.
Because it's
That
the
was a-
same damn cake.
That was a cellular peptide cake, by the way.
Because, bitch, they're not baking new cakes for every episode. And under those hot lights,
Maybe somebody is.
I don't think so. Under hot lights, the cake would melt.
You notice that, like, on television, you never really see people eat. They clink
They
the
push
silverware
food around.
and they push stuff around, but rarely, because sometimes you've got to shoot a scene for 12 hours.
Yep.
Like if you're doing a scene where it's people around a dinner table,
Mhm.
everybody gets their coverage. So
Mhm.
like if there's 6 people, you shoot it 6 times, then you
Mhm.
shoot that wide, and then you shoot more coverage. Imagine if you were eating like
The
it would
entire
be-
time.
But you
it
know
would be
what?
crazy.
I've been rewatching all of Golden Girls, like from episode 1 on
They
through.
eat that cheesecake.
They're eating that cheese.
They eat that fucking cheesecake.
Yeah.
girl.
And Oreos.
They snacking.
Oh, speaking of the Golden Girls.
Yes, let's see.
I love my T-shirt.
Yes.
Those girls.
It's the
Word.
Golden Girls.
Look at
voting.
Blanche.
Serving it. House of Miami.
Word.
I wore this T-shirt to Disney, and honey, even like straight people, like were walking up to me going, "Oh my god, like I love your shirt. Please
They didn't
tell
make
me
you
where
change
you
it?
got it." They did not make me change it.
So
No,
for the-
because there's nothing obscene.
Right.
Exactly.
So for those listening and not watching, Matinga is wearing a T-shirt featuring the Golden Girls voguing. And
They're
I gotta say,
voguing.
actually, Sophia looked like she was about to throw down.
They're throwing down, honey. It's
Yeah.
the house of Golden.
Honey, yes. I think Blanche and Sophia are serving it the most.
Yes.
But Sophia, she's given the floor already.
Sophia's
Down.
giving floor, honey.
She's falling and
She's
she
the
can't get up.
oldest. Well, actually, she was the youngest, but she was playing the oldest.
Mhm.
Hey,
Yo.
should we say who we are?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to good call, Miss Booby. Welcome to Fire Chakotay, the most dope Trek podcast in the quadrant. I am Mike Diamond.
This is Miss Matinga.
And this is Booby.
So today we are doing the season 3 episode called Before and After, and it
Yes.
involves birthday cake.
It does
Sure
indeed.
does.
Mm-hmm. So let's just
Big
give
one.
let's give a sense of where we are in the season. This is episode 20 something.
This so Before and After premiered April 9th of 1997. It is the 21st episode of season 3 and the 63rd episode overall of Star Trek Voyager.
Mm-hmm. So it's coming to the end of season 3, and it's a Cass episode.
A rare
Ooh.
Kess episode.
Ooh.
And she's so good.
Say yes to Miss Cass. In a nutshell, this episode is Cass traveling backwards through time because of reasons, and there's a couple of different wigs. Would you say that's about what's happening?
Yes.
Yes, although
like
one
3
of them I
wigs.
want to say is her real hair.
Nah,
Is
bitch.
is
Her
the
younger
long-
days is her real hair, the long
Mm-mm.
hair.
Oh, as the little kid?
No,
No, that little girl, that was her hair.
That's her hair. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
her hair, girl.
I'm thinking in the 20 when she's in her 20s human.
Mm. You mean when she's given that sort of like Goldie Hawn feeling?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah,
No,
bitch.
not with the short hair. I think
The
she
long
actually has
hair.
long hair.
The long
She
hair.
might, but that's a wig, child.
I still think
Oh, you
it's a
think
wig,
so?
but I much prefer that long hair.
Doesn't she look good?
She looks beautiful, and you know what, Miss Jennifer Lean, she is, just a dynamite little actress.
She's a
in this
gangster
episode.
lean. She's a
Yeah.
gangster lean.
She really is.
Maybe that's her street name.
I think-
Gangster lean.
Miss Gangsta Lean.
Where's
I
that
see-
from?
I want a roughneck brother that could satisfy me.
Also, there is the beverage lean that we shouldn't drink because it's highly addictive. But there's
Really?
there's rappers
wanna-
always drink lean. They
Freak
drink
in the
lean.
morning, a freak in the evening, just like
Just like
me. Adina Howard.
Mrs.
Adina
Dina Howard.
Yes.
Lean is like, I think it's
a car.
I think it's hydrocodone syrup and something else.
No, that's purple drink. Isn't that
Oh.
purple drink?
No, purple drank. Purple drank is something else. It's
That's
like
a
mixed with
Prince
vodka.
album. That's a Prince album.
Isn't the Black Album a Prince album?
Does it involve Star Trek? Don't know.
And you get addicted to it.
Prince?
think-
Absolutely.
I think Prince would have fit in really nicely on Voyager.
I think he would have made a great Okwampan because he's very short, and can't you see him with pointy ears?
Oh, and you know what? A little sci-fi tidbit, but I just found out that Prince, this is a true story. Prince was supposed to play a character in The Fifth Element, the character that is portrayed by is that Chris Tucker?
Chris Tucker.
It was supposed to be Prince.
You could see with the hair.
Yeah, and like he was on board, he was hired, they were designing costumes specifically for Prince, and Prince was okay with the character being kind of femme and blah, 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 blah. And then something happened, and at the very last minute, Prince pulled out.
Oh.
He
was known for pulling out at the last minute.
Trust.
Yeah.
Trust, but it was
I'm
supposed
glad
to,
that they got Chris Tucker because he was funny.
he was so good, but I think Prince might have done something.
He probably could have turned it.
Yeah.
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 He would have turned.
Oh,
Yeah. Good movie. Good movie.
Fun movie.
Luc Besson flick.
Matinga, you'll know the answer to this. Is there a porn called The Fist Element?
Well, coming up this summer.
Honey. Okay, so the episode starts with the doctor. He
In
has
a bad
hair.
toupee.
Right.
Yeah.
The doctor has hair, and he's talking to a patient on the table. And
but
it
the view is from the patient's view. So
Right.
we're looking up at the doctor.
and you're like, why does the doctor have hair? The patient is apparently Cass, but she looking old.
Yeah.
She look old.
She's so old.
She's so old. Like she's giving you like crispy old lady wig, tons and tons of old lady prosthetic makeup. She looking old. She doesn't know what's going on. Who's
know
who,
you.
Where is she? She's like, I don't know you, and I don't see you.
Good makeup, by the way. Good
Yeah.
makeup. And also the doctor has finally named himself Dr. Van Gogh, which is so lame.
I think it's so tired.
Yeah.
I think it's so tired. I wish he had been like, Dr. Lahoma Van Zant. That would have given me life.
Even Dr. Steven Van Zandt.
Exactly. Just something.
Yeah.
Lee Chapel.
Or just little Stevie.
Little Stevie.
Lee
darling.
Chapel. That is a deep dive, and
That's
it's
a
like
deep
really
dive.
niche, boo.
Super niche. Super niche, darling. So as the episode progresses, Cass is in sick bay. She's old and she's confused, and she's nearing the end of her life, and she's in a biotemporal bed, and then
She's
her
9.
temperature drops. She's 9 years old, and then her temperature drops, and there's like some kind of whoosh thing.
But also, just very quickly, we are very quickly introduced to Kess's daughter and
Yes.
grandson
In that very first scene.
in that very first scene. Yeah.
Yes.
Her daughter, Linus, and I think the grandson is Andrew, maybe?
Shout out to Star Trek for including a gender nonconforming, non-binary trans character like her grandchild.
I know, right? Oh
Honey.
my God.
Can you talk with all the colors of the wind? He was letting you have it.
Or she.
Or,
Or
she.
she.
Right. They don't
Yeah.
they don't really gender Miss Andrew.
Miss
Wh-
Andrew.
With her little velour tracksuit and her very Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer speaking voice.
I finally finished making your birthday present. Sorry it's late, but I wanted to get it right.
Letting you have it. But so
And
go on, guys. What
the-
happens?
The actress playing the daughter, Linus,
Mhm.
I thought was really good. Like
She was.
Great brows.
Great brows, and also not a lot of lines, but
Right.
really like gave you a lot for
Mhm.
not having a lot to do in that episode.
A concerned daughter.
Concerned daughter, and
Right.
also it's like this little moment of like Kess is having sort of a moment of Alzheimer's, and you see the entire crew rallying around her because like wouldn't that be sad and scary to lose Kess this way?
Well, they think
Right.
she's having delusions because she's like, I don't know you.
yeah.
I don't know you, but like a minute ago, I was in sick bay, but I don't know you.
So Kes is moving backward in time, experiencing moments in her life because of an accident that happens during the year of hell, which is actually a call, not a call back, but a call forward
But at
to
this
an episode next year.
At this point, they just think she's having Okwampan menopause.
And I was cold, and I woke up in that bed in the quarters, and maybe you were dreaming. I don't think so. You're confused right now, and I'm sure that's very frightening. But you need to trust me.
Yeah, they haven't figured out what the hell.
They're like, girl, you're going through the morologium.
Yes.
Morologium, which was similar to, what's the other word? Elogium.
Elogium. But this is more elogium.
So elogium is the onset of puberty, and I guess morologium is the onset of menopause. And I want to say also, morologium, great drag name. And, you know, morologium, that's like the after hours club you go to after Club Elogium. You go to morologium.
And then the little non-binary kid, honey, she's gonna go through fiasolosium.
Fiasolosium, darling.
Yeah.
So they're basically saying, you know, Cass, you're 9 years old. You're at Club Morologium, passed out behind a speaker with a tricorder in your ass and a Leola root in your vagina. Okay.
You're going to die.
You about to die, girl. And you crazy. And she's rocking this sort of like autumnal colored B. Arthur-esque.
Yes.
Maybe
tunic
made of
thing.
Like a tunic. Yes, a tunic.
Yes.
Grandson, grandchild, granddaughter, Andrew, goes scurrying out of sickbay, and Chakotay grabs him by the arm.
Whoa, hold on. Where are you going there?
And I was like, if you're going to manhandle somebody, make it me.
Do it me.
Okay? Because I'm going through the morologium too.
Yes.
Right? And I need some dream catcher action, okay?
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out.
Yes, and and also he is addressed by Andrew as the captain. So we find out, oh, whoa, he's captain now. What's happened to Janeway?
Where's Kathy?
Right. Where's Catherine?
Where's Kathy? Well, as it turns out, Tom Paris is her man.
Yeah.
Like her legal man.
That's her husband.
Who lucked out? She lucked out.
He lucked out because she old now.
She old.
It's only been 9 years.
And it was like that.
She's serving you like a Compton cougar.
But winner, chicken dinner, honey.
Even though she doesn't know who he is.
Right.
She's like, who are you? And why are you touching my dry place? And
my
dry arid hoo-hoo.
My hoo-hoo is drier than the K's in Homeworld.
Mostly.
Yes.
So Tom comes in, and they're apparently a couple, although she doesn't quite remember it. And Linus, who's the daughter, I guess is Tom's daughter too?
Is Tom's daughter? No, is Tom's daughter.
Oh, Tom's daughter, yeah.
So Linus is half human and half Okwampan, and she does have the pointy ears.
Hence, she's grown up fast.
Like, because she's supposed to be like, you know, in human years, like 30.
Right.
Ish.
But she's maybe like 2.5.
But if she's half Okwampan and half human, wouldn't that kind of slow it down a little bit?
You
would think.
And also kind of weird that it turns out that she's married to Harry Kim.
Gross.
And like when did Harry move in on this baby?
I mean, come on. He is such a horn dog.
And he had to have moved in when she was like a year and a half, because they had to get married and have time to have that baby. The baby's at least 6 months old, because you figure that out at some point. So it's like, honey, like Harry moved in quick.
Yeah, it made me lose respect for Harry. I'm sorry.
It's like weird.
So as we rock backwards in time, Cass is married to Tom. They have a child named Linus. Linus hooks up with Harry Kim, the Predator.
They have a kid named
They have
Andrew.
the non-binary Andrew.
Right.
So there may be something about, you know, because remember that Neelix and Cass got together when Cass was also super young. Maybe like, you know, Okwampan babies, they're just so bewitching that like they be luring in the trade.
Like a Thorin.
I don't know what to say.
I mean, listen, they don't have a lot of time to waste.
Right, like, you know, so Harry Kim was best man at Tom and Cass's wedding, and he's like, hey, Tom, congratulations. By the way, I'm going to fuck your baby in like 6 months.
By the way, that baby's looking juicy.
Oh, nasty. I
Yeah.
mean, Harry.
Harry.
I'm not wild about Harry.
No, and Harry's not wild about me.
And
No.
Harry would not be wild about me either.
No.
So they take her to sick bay, and Dr. Van Gogh or her Dr. Mozart, whoever he is at this point, they figure out that her chronoton levels are out of whack.
Right.
He's infected.
And she, like, he puts her in this temporal chamber, but somehow the chronoton radiation affects the temporal chamber, and that is what's causing her to move back in time.
Right. She's moving back in time and retaining some memories as she goes, and maybe gaining more memories
And
the
maybe
further
gaining
back
more
she
memories.
goes.
Yeah.
But of course, every time she jumps back in time after her temperature drops, she's faced with a crew from a previous time who have no idea what she's talking about.
And she's got to start all over again and explaining, but quicker and quicker.
Yeah.
I will say she does play along, like at the scene where it's her 9th birthday party, where she's already an old lady, looking a little bit like Rachel Dratch, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
She
so,
plays
just a
along,
very
like, she
graceful
blows out
moment.
the candles, you know, like she gives it that 1 second of like, okay, where the hell am I?
We just play
along.
through.
She doesn't want
Right.
to spook everybody.
Right.
But it's a really lovely, calibrated performance from Jennifer, because as she goes back and as she gets further back in time, she knows that time is a wasting. So she gets more serious. Like she gives it that moment, and then she turns to her husband. She's like, look,
Right.
da 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 da.
Oh,
And like
yeah.
she starts putting out the information faster and faster, and also realizing I've got to take this situation by the horns.
Right.
And make
By
this
the
happen.
Leola
And she's
route.
she's kind of gagged that her husband is Tom, but there was always that chemistry. Like I could
Mhm.
when I first saw the episode, I kind of thought, oh sure,
Mm-hmm.
all
Mm-hmm.
right, Tom
Possible.
or B'Elanna. It was going to be B'Elanna or this
Right.
one. I
Right.
could see it going either way.
Right. And as she goes back in time, she appears younger and younger and younger. So
And
we
more
go
lovely.
and more lovely. So we go from the old lady wig, and then maybe they do like a bigger jump, and she's got this sort of like Goldilocks feeling with some curls on her shoulders, kind of soft and lovely, and
But kind of like Sylvester Stallone in Rambo.
a little bit.
Except,
yeah.
A little, but his was dark, but very similar.
A little
Like
helmety on top.
A pretty mullet.
She looks
pretty
good.
mullet.
A pretty
prullet.
mullet. A pullet.
But she looks good though.
She
And
looks
apparently
beautiful.
She's one of the ship's doctors at this point.
Yeah.
And they finally come to a time period where Captain Janeway still exists. Oh no, before we get to that, doesn't she like show up in the holodeck on that tropical program? And she's like, you must be B'Elanna.
A lovely man playing
catch the train?
Yes, in the
in a
background.
cameo in the bikini.
So there's a guy in the background in the tropical holodeck who's wearing some kind of like spandexy short things with the sides cut out.
But a little bit of a hairy chest.
Yeah.
Giving you real nice, real body.
Yeah.
You know what? It's very like turn off the security protocols and fuck me to death.
Death.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. But he looks real cute. He's got a nice little sturdy body. He's got his little ladder short thing happening on the side. Nobody paying him any mind. Clearly at this point, it's the captain's still alive and B'Elanna's still alive. So it hasn't happened yet. And she's like, y'all, I need to talk to you.
And they have a meeting in the ready room.
Right.
And basically going over very quickly, like, this is what's happening to me. This is what I think I need, and blah, 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 blah. She needs the exact variance of the chronoton radiation of the Crenum torpedo. But unfortunately, during that battle, all the computers were down. But that aside, they're in the ready room, and the doctor is, blowing smoke up his own ass.
Now he's bald again.
He's bald again, and he's like, "Oh, an absolutely brilliant move. I create this hollow la 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 la." And just take a look at B'Elanna. She gives him the eye roll
of doom. She's not having it.
It's so lovely, and it's like just a little piece of character work. But she's like, "Ugh."
She's thinking, "Oh, bitch, please." Like if her eyes rolled any harder, I mean,
Yeah.
like it's.
They would have rolled out of her head.
It would have
I
rolled.
gotta
out
look
of her
at that
head.
again. I didn't see that.
Oh, I
It's
caught
so
it.
great.
It's
But it's
hilarious.
and that moment is not about B'Elanna, it's about the doctor, but it's also like, you know, when you're
The
acting,
nuance.
it's the nuance of performing with another person.
Mhm.
Like you acting is also reacting, and it's a
Mhm.
beautiful reaction from Roxanne Biggs Dawson.
Has she had the baby yet? No.
She has not had the baby.
Oh, we got to get to the scene where she has the baby.
Woo.
So before they're in the ready room in the tropical holodeck with the guy with the short shorts, suddenly we flash to a point where it looks like she's hanging onto a shower curtain and Tom is behind her saying, I can see the toes. Something about the sack has burst
Yes.
because apparently
They
Oquampins
carry
give
their
birth
children
on their back.
on their
On the back.
She's got
Yeah.
a back vagina.
Yeah. Does that mean that he hits it in the back? I mean, not the back, but like the back,
Talk about Spinal Tap.
I don't know.
right? Like, is
He would
like,
have to if that's
because that
what,
would be such a weird
Well,
position.
but you're judging by human standards. If the fallopian, you're judging by where the, it is on human females. But if you're doing it in Compens, you can still probably get the moosey down below.
Does she have?
Down below?
But does she have a moosey down below?
Right.
She probably does, and then just really long fallopian tubes that go up to her back.
And was Neelix climbing up on her doing it? Did she have that monkey on her back?
Probably.
Wait a minute, doesn't Bette Midler sing Moosey Down Below in The Rose?
She does.
I think she
actually.
does.
Yes. So Cass spits out a baby out of her back, out of her Oquampan back womb.
And meanwhile, she's in the middle of giving birth, but at the very same time, she's like, I don't have a lot of time.
Right. She's like,
here.
she's on a shuttlecraft.
They're on a
On the
shuttlecraft, and the Krenim attack is about to happen.
Mhm.
So she's like, Tom, honey, listen, real quick.
Right. Listen, she's like, rinse off the baby and scan my chronotons because it's getting crazy. Never mind my back pussy. Okay. Yeah. My neck, my back, my pussy, my crack.
Yes.
On my back.
It was
On my
affecting
back.
her neck. Exactly. This episode affected her neck, her back, her pussy, and her crack. It did.
That's the birth of baby Linus. So clearly, Kim hasn't moved on it yet, although he's probably does like that later that day.
He's waiting just around the corner.
He's
Predator.
eyeing the baby like,
Predator.
She's looking pretty.
Oh, Harry. So they transport over to Voyager in the midst of this heated battle, and Neelix is there and takes her to sickbay while Tom goes to work on some weapons or something.
Well, the ship is messed up.
Mm-hmm.
The ship is messed up. And also, just to point out a little bit later, Neelix becomes one of the head security officers, which I thought was an interesting turn of events, but not quite just yet.
Not quite right. Not quite yet. Oh, there's some little patter with him and Tuvok at the birthday party when he's cutting into the Jabelian fudge blue cake. And Neelix trying to be funny, Tuvok trying to be funny. Neither one of them are funny.
But Tuvok definitely is a little bit more cutting about his remark.
He's sarcastic.
Sarcastic, yeah.
So this is the point at which the chronoton bombs from these Krenim aliens hit
from the Year of Hell, which is actually next season. So this is kind of a prequel to that episode in a way.
In a way. And now this is where I get confused. These time things always mess me up. At one point, I don't know if it's in this segment, she's on the bridge with
warning the captain.
The captain and B'Elanna.
Yes.
Right? And she's like, they're using chronoton-based weapons. That's how this is happening. And B'Elanna and the captain look at each other like, say what now?
Captain, these torpedoes are chronoton-based. They're passing through our shields because they're in a state of temporal flux.
They literally
just as they look at each other, kablam.
Kablam. They kind of just look up, and
what? And then, whoops, they're dead.
And they are dead. But then the Chakotay steps in. He's like, what do you know about these weapons? And she's like, if you do this phase variance thing, and they're able to destroy the Krenim ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so later on in that very same scene, she realizes that even though the ship is a mess and the computers are down, that little fragment of the torpedo is still there. So she can go with the tricorder, even though the radiation might kill her, and get the phase variance that she needs to assist her. And she goes on to do that.
All the while rocking cute little kitten heel boots.
Cute little kitten. When she's climbing up, I saw the kitten heel boots.
And maybe still sore in her back uni.
Yes, her
probably
her boonie.
She gave her boonie. She gave her baby to Neelix and said, "I'll be back."
Which is not a good idea. Don't hand the baby to Neelix.
Well, at least she's not handing it to Kim.
Please. Oh, maybe they're sharing it.
Honey, looking at it like with some hot bread.
Oh, God. And Neelix is like,
and butter.
You want some Jubilean fudge? Ew.
Ew.
Gross. I mean, if you had to, is this even a question? If you had to do Neelix or Harry? Harry, I guess.
It's Harry.
Neelix.
Really, girl?
Really?
Tell me
who
why.
Knows, honey, who knows what that boonie looks like?
I mean, at least Harry's human.
But he's probably big on Neelix.
Oh, and maybe
all three of them.
Oh, and spiked.
But also like a really red tip and constantly wet.
And he'd be like trying to push through your vertebra, like, yo, pretend you're no comping.
Yeah.
I'm opening a hole up here.
And it would smell like an Italian tuna salad.
You, bar rodent. And so Cass figures out what the micro temporal variance thing
of this
is.
chronoton weapon is.
Right.
And right in that moment, she does another time shift.
Right. And then she goes back to
kind of the time.
Her childhood.
No, not yet. The time that she's from, like to the current
right,
time.
Quote unquote current time. Like
right. When she's just met Catherine Janeway for the first time.
No. It's still she's still got the long hair. She's still got the long hair, but it's kind of the current because she's like, how old am I? And they're like 3 years and 2 months or whatever. This is when she tells the doctor, stick me in the biotemporal bed and Captain Janeway, avoid the Krenim and whatnot, because that's yet to come, these chronoton weapons, which just give me a couple of other issues.
And I do want to say this real quick that, like, first of all, you're not supposed to share your knowledge of the future. Because the future is like a river, like it shifts. But I'm glad that she shares that particular thing with the Captain Lick. Like, avoid the Krenim, and this is what their weapons are like. But the ship still gets fucked up by the Krenim anyway.
Yeah, but because there's multiple possible timelines. Also, doesn't that make a time paradox? If they never met the Krenim and they never got shot by the chronoton weapons, didn't she never have this problem?
In the first place?
Well, the thing is, by that point, remember, Jennifer Lean has now left the show. So now that time, that future time,
no, bitch, I'm talking about in the reality of Voyager.
Yeah.
Her telling them about the Krenim prevents that weapon from ever hitting the ship, thereby preventing her from ever going back in time. It's one of these time paradox things.
Well, maybe that's because that's what causes her later, or should I say earlier, to come back from.
It just keeps getting crazier.
So it's so weird. Also, like in what's the movie where I think it's Days of Future Past where they send Wolverine back in time and Kitty says, listen, while you're back in time, this time period goes forward. Any changes that you make while you're back there do not affect this time period. But once you come back to this time period, all the changes you made take effect. So maybe it's that kind of thing.
Immediately.
She's still in this temporal paradox. So everything's a jumble still.
But now here's another question. Is her body going back in time or just her mind? Because if she's
just her mind.
But then how is she traveling back with chronoton radiation that hasn't affected her yet? If they put her
in girl,
if they put her in the biotemporal bed before the Krenim attack, that means when she's put into that bed, she has the damage already. She's already infected. Now, how could that be unless her body itself is traveling backwards? Then what happens to the Kess, her body that was there already?
She displaces that Kess.
So it is her body going back in time.
Right. Maybe I think that makes more sense.
It would have to be. Booby, stop yawning.
I can't stop. I don't know what's going on.
Girl, I'll tell you what's going on. You was at Club Morologium way too late last night, bitch.
That's what it is, yo.
What is it? Elysium? Club Elysium?
Club Elysium.
No.
It's Club Elysium, darling. Morologium. The after.
Morologium.
No, but there's another club where the other caretaker, she's in this part of space called something.
Oh,
it's not Elysium.
Yeah, Elysium.
No,
Is it Elysium?
No. That's when Cass has her feet rubbed. It's called the Relithum or something.
No. The caretaker occupies a certain space-time continuum.
Right.
And it's like Olestra or something. Like
No,
you go there,
that's just like
you go and you have fun, but it gives you diarrhea.
Well,
really cool.
That is true. Now, she may or may not have gotten diarrhea while she was in the biotemporal bed. It's not that kind of podcast.
Maybe the
goes,
biotemporal bed is what keeps the chronotons with her the entire time.
Yeah, but
but
catch it though. The next time she jumps through time, it's when her and Neelix are first aboard Voyager. She's back to the short hair.
Right.
But she's still affected by the chronotons. And I just want to say that in that scene, she comes off as insane.
You don't understand. I'm traveling backwards in time, getting younger. We have to lower my chronoton levels. You've got to get me into the biotemporal chamber right away.
Insane.
Yeah. But Captain, and this is the first time she's meeting the Captain.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
and
you
Captain
don't know me, but
like,
I'm traveling backward in time. I'd be like, yo, get this bitch off my ship.
What is she smoking? And can I have some?
But Catherine looking at her askance, but still willing to listen because she's a scientist.
Yeah.
Right. She's like, well, listen, you've interrupted the squirrel's speech, but I'll give it a listen. No, she comes off as crazy because she suddenly starts looking around the room and she's like, I don't even know if she said anything by this point in quote unquote reality, but she's like, Captain, you must listen to me. I shouldn't be here. I'm traveling backwards in time. I'm gagging. But she gives her a listen before that can go too far. She goes, oh, right. She gets
back
pissed.
Again. She gets annoyed
when she gets sucked out of this time loop.
Cass, why don't you start over slowly?
Oh, it begins about 8 years in the future when I'm about to die. No!
But what we're jumping over is when Kes gets back to the time period that the show's actually in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor puts her into that temporal chamber, and they start doing this chronoton variance thing to see if they can help her. And then that's when she goes back that one more time to the captain. So they're in this moment, they are attempting to help her, and the chronotons are going down. But she does shift again to the moment when they first got onto the ship, and then she shifts back down again. Now then
Is her body in two places? These episodes always confuse me.
Right.
If her body's in the biotemporal bed getting healed, right? And then she time shifts back to short hair Cass, that means there's two?
Maybe
Casses?
at that.
No,
maybe,
she's traveled.
Then she's no longer in the biotemporal bed getting healed.
Right. Because it's something else now.
But the Kes that inhabits that time period perhaps returns back to that moment.
This is what these time
body
episodes mess me up.
That body, yeah. And then once again she jumps back to a moment in time when she's a little girl, and I've got to say, her dad, a total hottie.
Yeah, I would do him.
I would have done it.
With his
totally.
fashionable, like he was wearing like a belt that was kind of like Chewbacca's bandolier. Did you catch the belt?
Yes.
Yeah, and handsome. And
no booty.
No booty.
Beautiful eyes, but no booty.
Yeah, but serving face.
Serving face.
Yeah.
Serving quota.
Tons of quota.
Yeah.
Talking about how confusing time travel is in Star Trek, I actually watched an episode from season 5 where Tony Braxton comes back.
Yep.
And that is confusing. And that's a time travel one.
Listen, I'm already confused with this one.
Yeah,
okay?
Let's stick with this one.
And the last one we did where Sarah Silverman popped up, also a time travel thing. They do a lot of skipping around in time in Voyager.
Hence Tony Braxton coming back.
And I'm always slightly confused by it.
And that episode where Tony Braxton comes back, also she brings along Babyface, and they're part of the temporal scientific ship. And it's so weird.
But does Pebbles make an appearance?
She does a number. It was like, what's happening here?
Girlfriend. Didn't she also do giving you the benefit of the doubt? Yeah, Pebbles, don't sleep. Yes.
Miss Pebbles discovered
TLC.
TLC. She managed them.
Mm-hmm.
And she also wasn't she married to L.A. Reid, Miss Pebbles?
That's why I'm mentioning her. Yeah.
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 Yeah, Pebbles. You know, we should do an entire episode of homework about Pebbles. I think there's a lot there we can chew on.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Well, the one last thing, Pebbles in the girlfriend video, I believe it's the girlfriend video. There's a dancer.
No, Mercedes boy.
Was it Mercedes boy?
And and
Lovely
And
man.
maybe we don't want to go there.
well, let's
I was
say
going to
that
go there lovingly.
go there.
Oh, we know the dancer.
No. This dancer later transitioned to be the female that he was all along.
Yes.
Much
Was
like
he,
much
was he
like
handsome
Kess's
as a male?
grandchild, Andrew. Yeah, he was hot.
beautiful.
She was
as
a
boy.
handsome man, and now
She
she's
was
a
a
lovely
handsome
woman.
man.
Oh,
Also,
interesting.
same dancer that is the principal dancer in What Have You Done For Me Lately?
Yep.
He's the one that dances with Janet.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Very
he became,
80s.
Yes, he was a woman all
Wow.
along, and
Well, I
actually
could-
became kind of a refined, beautiful woman.
Miss Booby, what did you say?
I didn't say nothing.
Well, the original title of that song is "What Have You Done for Me, Tranny."
Exactly.
Right.
What have you done for me, Tranny?
Say, what have you done for me, lady?
Aha. So there's Cass
Back
with
to-
her beautiful Girl Scout hair and her hot no-ass dad. And she's like trying to convince him of what's happening with the chronotons. And he's like, you tripping,
Little
bitch.
girl,
We late for
little
dinner.
girl.
It's not time for storytelling.
It ain't time for storytelling. You what, a month old? And before she can get too far with dad, ba-blam, we flash back to a time when Kess's mother and father are there. And
Also
Kess's
lovely.
mother, also lovely, is giving birth to Kess.
Yeah.
Also hanging onto a shower
From her back.
from her
Yeah.
back. Her neck, her back, her pussy, her crack.
Yeah.
And, and dad is by her side. And there's a lovely midwife with a white towel standing
Yes.
by. And I want to
In
say
a white room
in a white room.
with white curtains.
Ocampans give birth in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Because it's like a push, a scream, the sac bursts, the toes come out. Bam, you got a baby.
Much like how
see
I
the
have
toes.
sex.
Exactly. Oh, and they're born toe first. And they toe up. So I noticed that the baby that was playing Cass, the baby actor, first of all, adorable little baby.
Adorable.
And
No,
I don't like
didn't have
babies.
the ears.
Did not have Ocampan ears.
Right.
Maybe they grow into it.
Yeah.
Maybe they just don't want to mess with the baby and
Yeah.
putting in,
But they'll cover it in fucking cherry jello to look like placenta.
Well,
That's
cherry
true.
jello's one thing, but like I could see a mom
glue.
saying, "You're not putting that prosthetic on my baby."
But
Right,
please
and
dip,
with
dip
adhesive.
its head in a
Look,
jello.
And that Asian actor over there has been looking at my baby kind of weird. Please keep him away from my
Right.
baby.
Please keep Garrett and his wang away from my baby.
Please. Keep Mr. Wang away from the kid, please.
So before we have time to process the fact that adorable little baby Cass covered in jello just burst out of her mother's back like some kind of reverse alien, another time shift, and now we're down to the cellular level?
Yes.
Is that what's happening here?
Well, embryo.
Embryo.
Oh, don't say
Ovum.
embryo.
Fetus.
Harry
No,
Kim will get turned
first
on.
fetus. First fetus, then embryo, then multi-cells.
No, then
Then-
ovum, then multicell.
Right.
Embryo, multicells. Oh, don't say embryo. No, fetus.
Well, anyway, it goes back to she's a cell.
Nothingness.
She's a cell,
Poof. Yeah, to nothing.
and then it reverses.
Exactly.
Yeah, and starts going forward. She's born.
Harry
And then
Kim has a load in there somewhere.
So gets a load in there somehow.
Yeah.
And then suddenly she's back.
In the biotemporal bed in the quote unquote current timeline and point in the
Right.
story.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Yeah.
this is the episode that introduced her look with long hair.
With the
because
longer
until
hair.
then
Hair.
she'd had short hair.
And it was
Yeah.
because the ears were messing up her skin. Is that what happened?
Right.
She had an allergy?
The adhesive.
The adhesive, yes. And I like the longer wig. And so
I like the
then
longer wig. It's softer.
apparently Dr. Van Gogh has healed her chronoton infection and she's in sync with everybody else. And she's telling the captain, what happened. And doesn't Tuvok say, give us some information about what you saw? Which also breaks.
Tuvok says, better that we do not know everything that you saw, as time is, that's just an occurrence that may have happened, but I'll take a report on the stuff that he did want to know.
And then they're back on the holodeck having a party for her.
Yes.
Because they're just having a party, because it's another chance for us to see that guy in the cute little short things with the body. And they're joking around in that holodeck is so phony. It's so phony.
And also, I think bad form of Kes to leave her party so early.
Well, now hang on now.
I just think it's bad form.
She hasn't told B'Elanna that B'Elanna gonna die. She hasn't told Tom she's getting the punani.
And everybody want to know.
She hasn't told Harry Kim he's a sexual predator. Okay. She hasn't told Captain Janeway she's going to die on the bridge. Any of that.
Because those things may or may not happen. Right. And also, it would have been like, I think it could have caused like a weirdness. Like, oh, yeah, we get married. Like, and, you know, and you die. And
right.
It's just, it wouldn't have been prudent.
It wouldn't have been kosher.
Yeah.
She says what I saw was fragments of possible timelines. And she's like, oh, I'm going to go do those reports now. And the captain's like, Kaz, what the fuck? This is your party. And Kaz has the
like that
lamest closing line. She said, oh, but Kathy, there's no time like the present. And I was like, are you serious?
Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Yuck, yuck. And then there's a shot. Kes walks out, and we look back in the holodeck, and there's the rest of the Voyager crew. And all I could think was, that must have wounded her if she knew she was leaving the show. And there's everybody else that had their contract renewed.
Right.
It was funky.
Well, it's so
awkward.
Funny. It's so funny that you said that, because as I was watching the episode, and I suddenly realized she must have known that this was her last season. She must have.
So close to the end there, yeah.
They gave her like a cute little episode, and she has another cute episode, by the way. But they gave her a cute little episode to kind of round out her character. But like I was kind of thinking, you know, Jennifer must have known that, you know, she was being handed her hat.
Right.
They fired her?
It's a story we'll get to.
Okay. Yeah. Fired, let her go. She moved on. It's nebulous.
It's a story we'll get to, because we're going to have to get to it.
Right.
Very soon. Real soon.
Real soon.
Also, I want to say, you know what? I really loved the Kes character. I hated to lose her. I thought that Jennifer Lane was a lovely young actress, a good actress.
Promising.
And, you know, and God bless her, because, you know, I think she went on to have difficulties. We don't have to go into them. But I missed her presence on the show, even though I did love who they brought on.
At this point, I really started to like Kes. On my first couple of, you know, watches of Voyager, I was kind of indifferent to her, but on this particular rewatch, I'm a little more into her. And by this point, I was like, yeah, they should have kept her.
She had more range.
More range. There was more of a, you know, this woman with an accelerated lifespan and telepathic abilities. Let's keep her. And,
I will say that, you know, it's probably really difficult, and I noticed this on STNG as well, to really write for that large of an ensemble, and people get lost, you know, in the milieu,
in the story.
They get lost, because it's hard to, because, you know, you bring on a character that's really, really strong, and so one character had to go. But even though they got rid of that one character, that one really strong character that they bring on very soon, and we'll talk a lot about later, other characters still suffered. Chakotay's character wasn't explored as deeply because of that character. Harry Kim's character is not explored. I'd love to explore
him deeply.
Yeah, so like I think it's just hard.
But hold the Jabelli and fudge
for that large of an ensemble.
Right.
I think even on Star Trek The Next Generation, they do an okay job. But, like, how many episodes are there really for Deanna and the Doctor, you know, and Geordi? You know, you really can only focus on, like, 3, maybe 4.
Let me give you one little factoid about Geordi. Can we divert here for a second?
Sure.
Yeah.
So Geordi from The Next Generation, who's played by LeVar Burton. Do you know what LeVar Burton's full name is? His first name is Lavardis. That's black.
Lavardis. Get your ass over here, love artist, before I get you upside
I went
the head.
down this rabbit hole of black names like Washington, Booker, Jefferson, whatever. And somewhere in the comments, there was some funny comments about, every black family has an Uncle Junebug. And somebody mentioned that LeVar Burton's first name is Lavardis because they were talking about black names. I thought that is an amazing name.
One of my favorite names, and also one of my heroes, is, and of course, this person was African American. It's such a great name, Sojourner Truth.
Love that name.
Isn't that an amazing name?
Sojourner Truth.
That's
Sojourner
right up
Truth.
there with Your Majesty Jackson.
Trust.
Yeah.
Trust.
Yeah. So on a scale
Pillow
of
Jackson.
Pillow. Oh, Pillow. No, his name was Blanket.
Blanket Jackson. Pillow, blanket, comforter, whatever.
Comforter Jackson.
Now that's a good name.
Yo, what up, couch?
Yo, what up, Polyphil? So on a
What's
scale,
the thing? What's the skirt you put around the bed? The
A
bottom
hoop.
of the bed.
Oh, a valance.
A valance.
A valance.
a duvet.
Valance Jackson.
Valance?
That sounds fierce.
That sounds real.
Valance Jackson.
Have you ever met a white person named Darnell? No. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 5 fire Chakotays, I'm going to give the episode before and after 3.25 fire Chakotays. Just because I really enjoyed Cass, and even though I was confused, I enjoyed her backwards journey, and I was into the back pussy.
Yes, I would. I'm going to say solid entry in the Star Trek canon. I'm gonna give it 3 Leola root, mostly for the performance of Jennifer Lean, who I really think she holds this episode together. It's all about her.
I'm gonna give it a 3, a solid 3.
Yeah.
Because a strong performance by Miss Jennifer.
Yeah, Gangsta Lean carries the whole thing.
Gangsta Lean.
Because the concept is a little wonky. Doesn't at one point the doctor say, oh, everyone was inoculated against the corona or something? Doesn't inoculation mean you prevent something, not you treat it?
Right.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there, girl. That's neither before nor after. But I tell you what is. Dr. Van Gogh better go on, girl. Dr. Van Gogh on, girl.
Yes.
So, listeners/viewers, feel free to hit us up on the Patreon and or Venmo. We are Workshop, WERQSHOP. And if you're listening to this podcast in an audio state,
please, give us a good ranking, 5 stars.
Nah, bitch, we ain't trying to get ranked out. Rate and review 5 stars, bitch. Go on, bring it.
Rate and review us at least 5 stars. And also, there is a weird metric in YouTube lately that is unsubscribing people from podcasts. So if you are subscribed to us, give a check and make sure that you are still subscribed to us. And whether or not you are or you aren't, hit that bell icon up there so that you are informed each and every time we put out a new piece of material.
Girl, you telling the Sojourner truth.
Yes.
Sojourner Truth.
Yes, you are. Any closing thoughts for this episode of Fire Chakotay?
Fierce.
Jennifer Lean, fierce.
I'm going to get myself some kitten boots, some blue birthday cake, and get it on with an Oquampin baby.
And a weird fitting tunic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody end the episode.
and birth a baby out my back.
That's right. Birth a baby out your back on the next Fire Chakotay. This is Mike
Birth
Diamond.
a baby.
This is Miss Matinga.
This is Booby.
Should we wrap that up again? Somebody wrap it up, please. I always lose it by this point.
Boo, wrap it up.
Wrap it up, Boo.
So you've been listening to a wonderful, fabulous episode of Fire Chakotay. This is Booby.
This is Mike Diamond.
And this is Matinga.
You've been learned.
No,
Wait a minute.
no.
Wrong show.
No. Okay, wait. We'll do it one more time. This is Lavardis Darnell Booker saying thank you for tuning in to another episode of Fire Chakotay.
This is Sojourner Montanez Kiki Vasquez. Thank you for coming.
And this is Boobala.
Boy.